we are showcasing the 3 North American reveals today, the largest number of new Saabs we have ever announced on one day in the US. Never has the Saab lineup been fresher and broader. 2010 was an extraordinary year for us, and 2011 will be as well. Just a few weeks ago, we celebrated our first year of independence. As many of you know, recently we faced some operational challenges, but I'm glad to say that we are in the process of resolving those. More details to come. This year, we will bring 4 new cars to the US market: the 9.3 Griffin, the 9.3 Independence Day convertible, the 9.4X premium crossover, and the 9.5 Sport Combi. And the Project Phoenix points at the future of Saab beyond these vehicles with its architecture, engine, Icon infotainment system, and electric cross-wheel drive. We will continue to forge new partnerships and enter new markets, and we will share know-how and expertise through Saab Engineering Services. That is our business model. We are making great strides toward becoming a profitable, independent niche car maker in the premium segment. Now please welcome the chairman of Saab, Victor Muller.
Good morning. A year ago, when we were here for the first time with Saab, we were actually just exiting a liquidation phase. And it's hard to imagine what has been achieved in just 1 year. However, a young company, for the first time on its feet in many decades, was facing interesting challenges. We didn't have a finance department, it was part of GM. We didn't have many other departments, they were all integrated into what was the mothership. We managed to carve them all out of the GM organization, and GM was more than cooperative in that sense. And we became an independent company standing on its own legs. But as you can imagine, a company that has just found its new independence is like a child that starts to crawl and then wants to learn to walk and drops on its face every once in a while before it can start to run. And that is clearly what happened to us, breaking away from a situation where it had been very comfortable for decades. And what happened a few weeks ago is that we saw a very tight liquidity situation in combination with interesting exposure in the media, causing a disruption to our production process. We have actually gone back to our lender, the European Investment Bank, guaranteed by a AAA Swedish Kingdom guarantee, and asked for less money, 120 million euros of less money, which of course is exactly the opposite of what you would expect. But we wanted that less money because we wanted to carve out the real estate of Saab in order to come to a normal financing of our company. The European Investment Bank loan is a loan which basically covers certain engineering projects, 50% of them. But we have no working capital loans in our company at this time. And we want to slowly but surely grow into a normal company. A company that has commercial lending in place, something which was totally unthinkable a year ago when the company was in liquidation. So before we have a fully funded Saab, which actually has commercial lending in place, we will not be truly independent. We are a company that is dependent on a government guarantee, and we want to break away from that. We're currently in the process of awaiting the decision of the European Investment Bank. I would have hoped, very much so, that we would have been able to tell you today it's all fine. The Swedish government today issued a press release saying we are absolutely fine with whatever Saab has proposed. This is all good news. We're also in the process of having Vladimir Antonov, our funder, particularly my funder, former Spiker owner, approved by the Swedish government so as to allow access to, I would say, all the funding that Saab would ever require. That's the long-term solution. But in the short term, we're looking at carving out the real estate and becoming an independent company, at least in part, from the EIB financing. Today, we are waiting that decision. It may take until Tuesday before we actually have it. But what I'm trying to say here is that we are on the path to a very profitable and interesting future for our business. And the fact that we're showing all these new models here today is a clear evidence of what has been achieved in 1 year. My first call after having acquired the company in February of last year was to Jason Castriota. And I told him we've known each other for years, but this is the time that we can finally start working together intensely. Here's a challenge that you will definitely enjoy. Well, he had to agree. And the fruits of our work together have already culminated in the Phoenix car right here in front of you, which we very proudly unveiled in Geneva a month ago. I would very much like to hand the microphone to Jason Castriota, whom I think is one of the, if not the most talented young designer in the world, and tell us about Phoenix and what this bodes for the new generation of 9.3, which will hit the showroom floors in October 2012. By that time, Saab's product portfolio will be the widest and newest in the history of the company. The oldest car on the showroom floor being the Saab 9.5, which we just started producing in May of 2010. That is quite an achievement for a small car maker. Thank you very much for your attention, and may I introduce to you Jason Castriota.
Morning, everybody. First off, I'd like to thank Victor and Matthias, especially Victor, for his very kind and humbling words. It's really such a pleasure to be here today. I'm actually born and raised in the New York metropolitan area. I used to attend this show as a child. And this show is actually very important for us, for our relationship, Victor and I's relationship, because it was a year ago to the day that I pulled Victor out of the show to show him designs for the next generation 9.3. And this is what solidified our relationship going forward to create bold, true Saabs together. Today, we're very proud to bring you our new lineup of vehicles from the Sport Combi, the Independence Day Edition 9.3 convertible, and of course the Phoenix Concept, which we unveiled in Geneva over a month ago. The Phoenix Concept is named Phoenix for a reason. This is a rebirth. This is a renaissance of the Saab company. Saab is a 60-year-old new company. And as Victor said, we're going to stumble a bit along the way, but pretty soon we're up and running. And I think the Phoenix points to that. The last year, and even really the last 2 years, there was such an outpouring of loyalty, passion from Saab fans around the world. And we really wanted to celebrate that. We wanted to create something that showed there was an emotional side to the brand. Passion, enthusiasm. And the Phoenix exemplifies this. In one fell swoop with the Phoenix, we wanted to reach back into the history of the brand, the core DNA, the philosophy, aerodynamic-driven form, function, practicality, space efficiency. Package that with our newest vehicle architecture and give you something that you've never seen before. If you look to the Phoenix, you see a form that has been purely driven by aerodynamics. Like the original Saab concept, created in 1946, we started with the simple form of the teardrop fuselage overlaid with a teardrop canopy. This form and some of the aero details around the car help achieve a 0.25 drag coefficient, which would be class leading for this type of vehicle. Underneath the skin, as Matthias mentioned, we have all new next generation 9.3 platform, the Phoenix modular platform, which someday will underpin other Saab models in the range. Up front, we have our 1.6-liter turbo 4-cylinder engine featuring 200 horsepower, mated to the electric all-wheel drive system at the rear, which has a torque vectoring capability, giving you great traction in all conditions, but with a 30% saving of fuel consumption and a 30% lower emission. Moving to the interior of the Phoenix interior is really guided in the classic Saab sense of a very cockpit orientation. We're able to really push the minimalism of the interior with the new Icon system. This is the world's first smartphone application in an automobile. This is the very same technology you all have on your tablets and phones today. Jointly developed with Google Android, the car is instantly a Wi-Fi hotspot, and it connects everything in your world. It's an open source system, so you can download applications and update it and upgrade it through the life of the vehicle. At this point, I'd like to invite Victor and Matthias back on the stage. We can have some photos, and of course, we're here for questions and comments. Thank you very much.
Right here. Everybody.